here's what I've learned, is horses don't remember things at all like we do. They don't. Here's what we do. It's normal human nature. We will have things that happen. We will have things that we assume. We'll have facts. We'll have assumptions. We put that all together and we tell ourselves a story. There's a story that comes out of that. It may be regarding other people. There's a story. Here's what I've concluded. Horses have experiences, but they don't come to conclusions. They don't have a story that goes with it. So there's nothing that translates into the tomorrow because they haven't had a story. So it's just building on experiences. So what happens is they can have a negative experience and another experience comes in that's positive. Here's what horses do. They don't say, this person has suddenly changed. They say, people have changed. One of the biggest challenges I had a severely abused horse come in years back. And when it was dropped off, it could barely walk. I wasn't sure if I'd ever walk again. And it wasn't broke. It was just scared to death of people. And I was amazed at how quickly that horse assumed that people had changed. Humanity changed when I started working with that horse and just gently working with it. And said, after a while, just about anybody could ride that horse. I look at that and I think, man, I wish I was like that. I wish that I didn't have the stories that I have developed, or the stories that are real, or they're partly real. I wish I didn't have that translated into tomorrow. Well, this happened yesterday, so tomorrow probably will be, and I fill in the blank. And what I need to do is learn from horses that the reality is that tomorrow can be a totally different day, and I may be wrong about some of the assumptions that I've made in life. So our fears, our unforgiveness, our bitterness, the terrible things that have happened, all are the result of looking in the rearview mirror. It's all that happened, so this is probably going to happen. And horses, that happened, but I'm not sure what's going to happen tomorrow because I just have today. So they live in the now. So once they have these experiences that replace some of the negative ones, they start living very much in the now. If you're you look at horses in the wild and something happens and you have a couple of horses that spook and start running, the other ones don't stop and look around and say, I wonder what that's about. They're just running. That's the now. The now is their horse is running and I need to run and we'll figure that stuff out later. So they're not so cognitive, and that really is what makes them pretty amazing animals. What happens when there's this passage of Scripture in Hebrews chapter 12. Hebrews 11 we have is what a lot of Bibles will have, the heroes of faith, or the patriarchs of faith, the heroes of faith. And it's this listing of has Moses and David and Jephthah and Abraham, all these people, and it says who by faith conquered, by faith overcame. And so it's these heroes of faith. And this list, and then you get to chapter 12 of Hebrews, and it says, wherefore, and this is King James, because that's how I memorized it, okay, so just, wherefore, seeing we also are compassed about with so great a cloud of witnesses, looking at that chapter before, so great a cloud of witnesses, let us run with patience, and another translation says endurance, which is a better word, let us run with endurance the race that is set before us, looking unto Jesus, the author and finisher of our faith, who for the joy set before him endured the cross, despising the shame, and is set down at the right hand of the Father. So it says this, he says, looking at all these people they've made it, let us run with patience the race that is set before us. That should be really encouraging, because he says they made it through stuff that we can't imagine. Matter of fact, he ends the portion in Hebrews 11 by saying, some were tortured, some were sawn into. He goes into this, he said, not accepting deliverance. And he said, these are the real heroes. Some that, he said, I can't name them all, because some we don't know their name, and they're maybe even more admirable than those that we have the names of. And he said, since they made it through all these things, he said, let us run with patience the race that's set before us. And it's really this future looking. Horses have this future that they look at only in the sense of what I do right now and the next few moments, but not a future as far as, oh man, this might happen in my future. They live in a very limited world. Their world is just a few miles, maybe a 10, 20 mile radius typically, the family band or the herds.